strangest thing. It's shorter than you think. No think.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This your girl Queen Tiles Crime. I'm back with another video. Hope y'all having a great and productive day. Shout out to John Q. He did a live last night with Classic and Sincere, so y'all go support him and subscribe. Yeah, y'all go do that, okay? Me and John had a great live yesterday. I did not go to bed until later on that night, so I was up over 48 hours. So I missed Classic and Sincere Live, but I would definitely catch up and yeah, get the information on that and see what is going on. Thank everybody for the support, the like, the sharing, and all the love. I do want to, like I said, read off a couple of y'all comments because, yeah, I like and I support everybody. Okay, so let me read out some of these comments. Beth Flynn. Sorry I missed the live. Queen and John, this is very astute. Perhaps see past the polygraph because her story, in my opinion, is riddled with half-truth. For instance, maybe they did plant flowers, and when she told the boys, watch Sissy, I'll be right back, may have been when she went on the run. So I agree with that. Yeah, everything is possible, y'all. Everything is possible. But I love and I support my viewers, supporters. So I'm gonna start back, reading off a couple of y'all comments, even though I know I go to the comment section and communicate with y'all, because I think it's very important to communicate with your people to make sure y'all on the same page or answer any questions, because you don't never want to get too busy for your people. Bob Brown says, and anyone who supported to Don Wells, asked him about his 17-year-old girlfriend, who's also his employee at work. Uh-oh. Natasha Wealth Thor says, way to go, Queen Talks Crime. Keep it up. Thank you, boo. E. Nick, how can you keep up with all his lies? It's very hard. It's very time consuming. It's hard. I have to break things down in parts. I have to observe everything, every detail. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Trust me. Still Life said, thank you, Queen and John. Cute, excellent video, and incredibly interesting. Thank you, baby. Drowning says, I'm wondering if there was an accident and they had to hide her body because of previous abuse. Possible. Sabrina Liddy says, I never felt Candace was a caring mother, and let me tell you what Don did to his stepsister isn't enough for Candace to walk away. You would think. I don't know. Stank Puss says, of course Don knows that selling children exists. He sold his own damn kids. But thankfully the wife got them back. He's always trying to act sweet, innocent, and naive, even about drugs. And we all know he's probably tried them all. He's definitely not a good actor. He sickens me. Sarah She says, tell me please if you think this is feasible. That Don could have been cooking meth in one of the sheds. They talk of people in cars sitting in their driveway doing drugs. Seems to me they're trying to share a connection between nefarious people hanging out near their home themselves. Very true. They do act like that. So anything is possible. Queen, about the Sabrina Lennon again, says, Queen, early on didn't Don say he didn't know anyone that could be out for revenge against him? Now he's coming up with all sorts of foes. You hit it on the nail. Lauren, did Hunter maybe use his tech skills that he bragged to Chris about to help Candace attempt to change dates on videos and pictures of Summer posted on social media in an attempt to mislead us? possible. Anything is possible. Definitely. Definitely. Lee Ann had to come back to finish this. LOL. By the way, your hair looks great. Thank you, boo. Linda Wilson, I think they know she's dead and never coming back. I agree. Greens, B52, straight talk from Miss Queen. Hey, baby. Linda, I hope all of this that you all have studied will be turned over to TBI to all of these lives, how they change. Yes, I stay in contact. Definitely, if I feel like I come up on anything, I report it to CBI. I definitely do because I really want Summer Wells found. Okay, this is about Summer. So, yes, I report. Yes, we do. So, thank you. M8 says, excellent analysis, guys. I think Hunter told the truth about saving Summer. Thank you. I definitely agree. I think some parts he was truthful on, and some parts I think he was basing off of what he's heard from his mother and friends. So yeah, it was a lot more, but I just, ran through some just to show some love and let y'all know that I'm definitely watching, and I check my comments daily to make sure I show love to everybody's comments, questions, concerns. Yes, I do. I'm very big on it, okay? Very, very big on it. So this video right here, you guys, is the part 4. Compare and contrast Don Wells' last interview with Voices, part 4. Okay, so about working so much. So y'all can, the transcript is in my live called Next Step in the Case. In the comment section, it's pinned. And shout out to Phoenix Boo. That's the person who pinned the transcripts. Okay, because a lot of us did not want to go watch the interview, so we got it transcribed by one of our own supporters and family members, Phoenix. So shout out to you, boo. About working so much, okay? He admits to taking the boys, not Summer, because he felt it wasn't safe. He said a few times Summer was out there, but Candace was there with her. Okay? So I showed y'all a picture in one of my labs a while ago, okay, where the kids was on the job, all the kids, with Don. And Summer was completely naked on a block brick wood with nails. And now he's so concerned with her safety. That's kind of weird to me. Okay? And Don, on that picture, was working side by side with an unknown male, one of his co-workers. Contradictory. He wants us to see that he's so concerned about the safety of his kids. But in that photo, your daughter was completely naked on a block of brick and wood and nails, concrete. While you and another man is working, she's completely naked, climbing all in that. Her poo-poo could have got hurt. She could have got seriously hurt. And the boys, I showed that picture, so I have to recall what lab it was, but I showed it. I completely covered up Summer because she was completely naked. No panties, no diaper, no nothing. The boys, I covered their faces because they're minors, okay? So we give respect to victims and minors here. So I completely covered them up. And yeah, I showed that to let y'all know this is what's out here, what they have put on here. So Candace has to be the one, in my opinion, to take that picture. And I'm thinking she thought that was cute. So she took the picture of Summer completely naked, climbing on brick, wood, nails, a dangerous area where she could have hurt herself on Don's job with Don working with another male. And I feel like that was completely inappropriate, okay? Never should have been done. But yeah, I just think it's kind of funny that Don is so concerned about the safety when she was right there with you, naked, not safe. Anyway, let's go on to the next part of the transcript. If boys went to work with Don that day. June 15th. Don had an excuse why no one went to work with him, and it was because he fired Dudley, is what he said. So why did H thought you needed the boys, that you had the boys at your job with you? Why did he think that? Where did that come from? Y'all want us to think H made everything up. But I don't think that. I also think there's some truth to a lot of things that H said. Because some things you can't just pull out the sky. Okay? So he goes into explaining why he doesn't regularly take them. But like I said, we saw a very concerning photo of Summer naked at one of his job sites. So that's just a little off for me. Okay? So you explain why, you didn't take them, and you didn't take them, but you take the boys, but not so much Summer. But if you do take Summer, Candace is there. So we're going to the next part of the transcript about the dogs on June 15th. So Don explains about people dropping off strays. So he went from no dogs was there on June 15th. He went from no dogs to one or two might have been in the house. Exactly what he said was, one or two of them come in, he thinks. So he says completely no dogs was there. Maybe one or two came in. Which one is it, Don? There was completely no dogs, or one or two came in? Because you said before there were no dogs. Why are you changing? Now one or two might have been in the house. You never said that before. You said there was no dogs on the property. Now you're putting one or two on the property. That's a change. That's a discrepancy. Yeah, that's that. You didn't tell that to Chris. You said no dogs. Also, why do y'all think he changed it? Let me tell you what I think. I think he changed it because he's consistently watching Chris and Steve. And when he watches them, he's observing what they're saying. And he's making changes. Every time he sees something that they point out, he goes over to this little interview with voices and he changes his statements. Okay? Read it. Go listen if you want to. He added one or two came in, I think. So now you're putting 2 dogs on the property. But at first you said no dogs. They always in a pack, gone. Yeah, I catch everything. Let's keep going. Why are you changing that? Okay? Because you were caught in a lie, that you couldn't really convince the world that all the dogs was gone. So once again, changing your statement here. That brings deception. Okay? But I know in my heart and what I seen with my eyes that dogs was there. We saw photos that day. Dogs was there. Candace talked about it in a interview that the dogs was there. She was upset because the dogs was the Ellie dogs and her dogs was everywhere. So she even addressed that the dogs were there. Okay? So regardless of what Don said, I believe the dogs was there. Okay? So the YouTuber asks Don, were the dogs there when police report was taken? He said no, the dogs weren't there. But you just said one or two went in the house. He just said one or two in his previous statement, in his transcript, that one or two went in the house, if you could remember. So this just tells us his story is falling apart. He's trying to convince the abduction theory and it's breaking down because he keeps lying instead of letting the evidence tell us what Summer is. He's still talking about the dogs like they were dumb when we saw and heard these dogs ourselves. They barked when people come on that property. Okay? Like any dog would. It's in their nature to observe and be on alert. It's in their nature. Now, not every dog is extremely smart, but most dogs are observant. Okay? So I will believe a dog right before I believe words that are completely always changed coming out of Don's mouth. Okay? Let's go on next part of the transcript about Grandma not living in the camper. Don explains what happened when he heard or had been told what he's been told by Candace. So Don wasn't there to be able to, say what happened. So he's repeating, where what grandmama went and what she's done and what's going on at that house when he's not there because he wasn't there to know. Okay? He repeated about the knee braces and what they asked the boys and grandma left going to go help a sister. So he repeated that because that's what Candace and grandma probably told him. Yeah, so he repeated that. And he also goes into what happened before Summer went missing. And my thing is, with Don, how do you know exactly what happened when you was at work? Allegedly. So you would know. So this is what's being repeated to you, right? So where did the 911 call dispatch of you saying Candace went for a walk, left, came back and got Summer? Where'd you get that from? Because now ever since the police came there and everything, you got on board with what Candace's story was. It's planting of the flowers. And, yeah, planting of the flowers, going in, walking her in, going back 5 minutes later, she was gone. So, yeah, it just sounds a little weird to me that you said that at first to now on dispatch, and then you turn around and hop on board with what she said. Okay? So, like I said, which one is it? I'm going to theorize with the first thing you said because it fits. Because there wouldn't have been enough time for somebody to get all the way up on that hill, take that baby, and get all the way back down without dogs, Candace, grandma, or the boys seeing them. It just don't fit, okay? About Illinois and Wisconsin. Don's not sure where sister lives. Was Wisconsin, now Illinois. He's not sure of the town. So he was asked that question. I'm not sure why, but he's not sure about that. Next part of the transcript. About what should happen to the person who took Summer. I, in my opinion, feel like this is a leading question. But let's keep going. Let's go on and lead into that answer. So now, Don's changed his response of course. So y'all recall Don, when Chris asked him, what do you think should happen to the person? Remember Don said, I don't know, pray. Do you think that person should go to jail? No. Prison's worse than death. So he didn't have an answer, and it really was he didn't know. And basically, in other words, nothing. Okay? He didn't have nothing for that response when Chris asked him. His response was prison's worse than death. He wouldn't wish prison onto nobody. So in other words, he don't want the person to go to prison. But when he did his interview with Voices, this is what he said about that. First thing comes in mind is hurting them. Oh, so now you got a response of hurting someone. But you didn't have that response to Chris. So notice another deception, another change in his story and statement. Okay? Notice that, observe it, jot it down. Okay? So he talks about how prison system is worse than death. And he goes on and says, first thing comes to mind is hurting them. Well, why couldn't you be real with Chris and say that's what comes in your mind with him? But you wasn't being real and honest. That's deception. That's lying. Okay? So you only make yourself look like a liar and guilty of something because you keep changing your story and statements. Which you think we are stupid, but we're not stupid. We see and hear this. Okay? So now the first thing comes to his mind is hurting them. But then he didn't want to at first. That wasn't in his statement previous. Now he wants to hurt them. Then talks about how prison is worse than death. Well, Don, you haven't died, so you wouldn't know if death is not worse than prison. But why would you not want the person punished? Do you know who has her? Do you have something to do with it? So you think it's okay to take people's kids without repercussions? That's my question for you. Do you think it's okay for kids to be taken, essayed, murdered, and nothing's done to them? Like, you can't think that. But you lied about what you really think. You didn't tell Chris the truth. But now, because Chris and Steve addressed it, now you want to change your statement on this interview with this YouTuber. I caught it. Yeah, I caught it, Don. So, I don't think he's being real. Okay? It feels like, he wants to say what he wants to say, what he think we want him to say. He's saying things that he think we want to hear, y'all. And that's not it. And or he feels guilty or knows something and don't want the consequence. Chris understands prison and is in the thought process. So why wouldn't you tell someone that's taught to criminals, has put people behind bars, that understands, been in the prisons? Why wouldn't he understand what you were saying? He would understand anybody that hurt my kid, I'm going to want to hurt them. Period. So you really had no reason to show deception. You really had no reason to lie, because who would have understood better than Chris? Okay? Anyway, but Don, you just wasn't honest. You're not being real. You sound like it's okay. What you're saying is that it's okay that your daughter was kidnapped. And nothing should happen. Which makes you look weird. Makes you look weird to me. Okay? Let's move on to the next part of the transcript. About when he called Chris, were you aware he was recording you? So Don stated he didn't know Chris recorded and he didn't ask. In my opinion, you don't have to. You called him. Okay? He didn't ask to speak to you. You want to converse with him. So, yeah, you don't have to. So then the person asks us about Jay for Justice, which is the other person that he interviewed with, and Don says no, he didn't ask for his permission either to record him. Okay? And this is what I have to say to that. Well, I would have recorded Don ass too. Okay? Because you lied on Chris. You defamed him on Facebook. He has the right to protect himself. Okay? You just upset you was caught in a lie. Okay? That's all that is. And if you're being honest and real, why are you so concerned about being recorded if you've done nothing wrong? If you have nothing to hide? Okay? So, like I said, when you first conversated with Chris, when Chris reached out to you and did the interview with you, you said you didn't want to be recorded. He didn't. All he did was come to YouTube and tell us the first time, okay, what y'all talked about. You got upset. You went and bashed him. Okay? Then you reached out later on to Chris. Mind you, at this time, when you reached out, you've already bashed him. You already had people pull up his old interview, Michael Crow, and was telling people, oh, he's a bad person, and he's not a good law enforcement, and he twists my word, he said me. I mean, you were just rampaging and bashing the hell out of Chris. So why wouldn't Chris record you calling him? You lied on this man. You defamed this man. So why wouldn't you think Chris, in his right mind, wouldn't record your ass when he knows that you'll go and lie on him? He's protecting himself. Okay? He's protecting himself, his integrity, his experience in law enforcement. Is what he's protecting. But I agree with Chris. I believe he should have recorded his ass. Because you already went and lied on him on Facebook. So why would I give you another time to do it? Okay? So, Once again, I think Don is just really trying to clear himself up in the light in this interview with Voices. He's trying to make himself look better. Truth is, Don, you're a fucking liar. Okay? And if something doesn't go your way, you get angry and you start bashing. You get angry and you start bashing. Chris did nothing wrong. This wasn't a planned interview. It was a phone call that you started, Don. You called him, ring, ring, hello. This wasn't a planned interview at this date, this time. It wasn't that. So Chris protected himself as he should. He see how you get down. So why wouldn't he? So that's what I got to say about that. Let's move on to the next part of the transcript about what he wants Chris to know. Is this interview about Don's response to Chris? I just want to know. This whole interview seems much as like to against Chris. This wasn't a real interview in my opinion. This is about Chris. This was Chris haters that didn't like Chris. He says he thought he had nothing to hide. So what are you saying there? I mean, if you got nothing to hide and you was honest, so why weren't you all the way honest with Chris? Talking about you got nothing to hide. Then he asked, could he bring up Trish? And this YouTuber, I'm assuming, allowed it. Which I definitely disagree. But he should never have the opportunity to bring up a victim that he essayed. Ever. That should have never been allowed. He should have been able to speak her name on the platform. That was completely disrespectful. I don't care what it was. Most of the people talked about him allegedly trying to sell his boys. But he wanted to call out Trish. And he only called her out for her saying what she said about him selling his kids. But yeah, you better not have tried to say nothing else about nothing you did to her. Because that would have been, a whole nother situation. Anyway, but yeah, so he called her out to try to say, that's not true, I did not try to sell my boys. Well, ding ding, let's retract. Didn't you tell Chris McDonough when he brought that up that you don't recall, you don't remember? Oh, now all of a sudden with your interview with Trish, oh, you recall, no, I didn't sell my boys. Well, what was that then? Let's be honest, you did try to do it. Now you want to deny it, but you did. Because if you knew you didn't do it, you would have said it in the first interview with Chris. But you didn't. So there goes, y'all, another change of deception. Another change of deception. Another change in his statement. Okay? Yeah, I caught that, Don. Okay? So yeah, he wants to deny selling his kids in Utah or trying to sell his kids in Utah. But yet you told Chris you don't remember. So in my opinion, this interview was tainted. In my opinion, this wasn't about the truth. This was for him to address others. Okay? And Don, you know who can sell kids. I mean, people been doing this since before time. Okay? People sell their kids for crack, a hit. People allow people to essay their kids. So I don't believe anything he's saying. Okay? I don't believe him. I believe what his sister and ex-wife stated about her going to have to go get her kids because he tried to sell her damn kids, her oldest two kids. So I'm going to believe that. I'm going to, believe that. Because you couldn't recall at first. You couldn't remember. You didn't know. That's completely different to now you all of a sudden you know for sure. Just lies for no reason. Okay. So you only made yourself look worse. You changing statements, responses, lies. Okay. You brought up Trish, which is disrespectful. But like I said, that just wasn't enough that you did what you did to her, but you want to address her publicly on the platform and call her out for what she said. But at the end of the day, you know what you did. Your ex-wife know what you did. And Don will sit at the table with any lowlife who would allow him. Okay? He's not a victim here. Summer's the victim here. These essays are victims here. These essay victims, they're victims. Not you. Not you. So I know I don't respect this at all. He wants to be the victim. He goes on about his family, mad because his dad left him the property, and woe is me. He goes on about himself, what he's been through with his family. He goes on to himself. He goes on to himself. They don't like him. I don't know why they're doing this to me. All about him. Narcissist. Narcissist, you guys. When you done nothing but cause pain and suffering to you and your family. But a narcissist doesn't feel like they've done nothing wrong. They're the victim. It's all about them. And we see all of that in Don. It will not change with Don. It will not change. Nothing will change with Don. He's a narcissist. He can't help it. He's not going to stop talking. If he has a lawyer, his lawyer already told him to shut up if he has one. If that is true. His lawyer already told him to zip it. Don can't. Because he can't help himself. He wants to be all about him. All about him. His feelings, his emotions, his way or the highway. And that's Don Wells. Okay? And I'm just giving you the real here of what we're seeing. Okay? Candace hasn't been out much. You only see Don running his trap. You don't see Candace out much. Just like he held her in the beginning. She didn't come out for 2 to 3 weeks. And he had excuses for that. Now he has her in the background now. And he's running the show. He's controlling. He's running the show. This is him narrating. Creating this narrative story. He wants us to believe this abduction theory. If it's an abduction, we gonna know it's an abduction when we're supposed to know it's an abduction. And the evidence is gonna tell us if it's an abduction. It's gonna show us if it's an abduction. The evidence. Okay? Now, your 911 call dispatch of your wife leaving, yeah, that opens a door for abduction. But y'all are lying about Candace being there. Y'all have done nothing but tell lies. And that's a fact that we are observing. These lies that don't add up. Why are you lying? What are you hiding? People only lie when they have something to hide. But the truth is all going to come out. The texts, the pings, DNA, everything is going to come back. And when it does, law enforcement will make their next move. Whoever touched that baby, you're going to leave fingerprints and DNA. Once they find her off of y'all phone pings and locations and every place y'all at, once they locate Summer, then the next step they're going to do is process her. And when they process her, she's going to have fingerprints, DNA, all of that. Because whoever put her wherever she is, if she's alive or not alive, wherever she is, it was hot. They perspired. So she's going to have sweat. She's going to have DNA. There's going to be fingerprints. Because you had to touch her to put her wherever she is. Whoever did it or has it. Okay? All of that. So once they're done processing that baby, we'll get down to the nitty gritty too. So the tech and everything they're analyzing is going to bring us to Summer. And when we get that baby, they're going to process more and we'll know who did it. So I'm going to let the evidence talk to us. Okay? We observe the fuckery from the Wells. We've observed the fuckery, the lies, the changes. We've observed it. And I'm not impressed. Not impressed. And like I said, you only lie when you have something to hide. Because we don't know who did it. Y'all are all persons of interest. nobody has been excluded. So, yeah, you're all persons of interest. We don't know who did it. But you're singing the loudest over here, Don. You're singing the loudest. And my question is, why are you singing at all? Once your interview with Chris, you should have shut it down and made it about Summer. But nope, you're running around making it about you, which only makes us look at you like you're crazy and then notice your lies and your changes. What do you have to hide? You're acting like a guilty person here, like you've done something, or you know who's done something, and you're covering for someone. So like I said, there's many possibilities, but nobody is excluded. So yes, you are all persons of interest. You are suspect until that baby is brought home. And over here, we stand for these victims. We stand for these victims. And that brings me to the end of this video. I love you guys. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Any questions, comments, or concerns. Don't forget, next video, I will be reading some of y'all comments. So feel free to comment, ask questions, whatever. I love you guys. I thank y'all so much. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my members, my mods, everybody. I love y'all so much, and I thank y'all for everything that y'all do, because we are a team. There's no I, there is we and us, and we are a team, and we are going to do everything we can to bring these babies home, okay? And women and men that are victims as well. We're going to work hard to bring them home as a team, as a family. That's what we are. So I love y'all, I respect y'all, and I value everything y'all say and everything y'all bring to the table. So I always give my supporters their justice by bringing things that they say out to the forefront and giving them their respect. So I thank y'all, I love y'all, and I will see y'all guys tomorrow. Shout out to John Q, for he was our guest on our last live, and peace.